Everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. Brian Good here. Thanks for the joining me on the live video chat. By the way, if you're able to do that on the Facebook, not the Facebook, sorry. Now I sound like my mom. From earlier this evening. All right, I've gone through the data here, so this is the best way I know how to do this is just dive right on into the details, and because I don't have a lot of time, as you all know. All right, 3 systems still on the board. We've got the one tomorrow, we've got one for the weekend here, and then we've got one for the next week. Hopefully we'll get to those if I can talk fast enough. But tonight it's a clipper that is moving through, and it's still a pretty potent front that is now stretched out across portions of Illinois, and it back builds into Nebraska. Area of low pressure has really got a lot of the forcing and the lift going on here. That's why the snow has really expanded in that area. But the front is going to have some forcing with it as well, and it's going to lift the atmosphere up as well, the air as it moves into our area toward sunrise, and it's that potential to produce, if this was the summertime, this would be thunderstorms. But in this case, this is more like snow squalls, what we call them. And yeah, they can contain some lightning in some cases. That would be very, very, very isolated. But it can happen. But these snow squalls, the models have a very difficult time. Clippers in general are always full of surprises. We get some of our most interesting scenarios of snow in wave country from clippers. But having said that, you add on not just a clipper system, but you add on the idea of snow squalls into that, and it gets even more complicated because now we're dealing with details within a county on a grid, and it can become very challenging for models to pick that out. So this is certainly what we call an outcasting event, where we trend it as it's happening. It's certainly looking to be one of those scenarios. So Christy's going to have her hands full in the morning to keep you guys updated on that. But make sure to watch her. She'll keep an eye on it and as it moves on through, because the models, again, they give us a general idea, something to work with, but as meteorologists, it's our turn to take that data and try to interpret it the best we can based on the experience and what's happening here before. And it's difficult because snow squalls don't happen here very often. All right, so having said that, we do have some warning shots, if you will, of some light snow. It's moisture being thrown into the atmosphere. It's trying to saturate in our northern counties, so this would normally be a moderate snow band. Instead, it's just flurries moving through Bedford, Indiana. And we'll try to see a similar setup here over Kentucky. Wouldn't be surprised if some of you see a few flurries flying around even over Kentucky. Is that the big snow starting to happen? And it ain't supposed to be a big snow to begin with, but you know what I mean. Is it the main event? No. It's just a teaser, and it tells us the atmosphere is trying to moisten up because we've got some dry air to overcome. So there's the system itself. Looking at the winds, still got a south wind ahead of the front. The front, you can see, is right in through here, and that's where the winds begin to pick up quite a bit as it moves through. These are sustained winds, by the way, and temperature 39 in St. Louis, but 27 in Des Moines, and that is where the front begins to really cause the temperatures to crash. We've warmed up above freezing here locally, but I don't see that changing much more from where it is now. We'll hold steady, and once we saturate the atmosphere, it should drop a degree or two as the snow picks up. The advisory is going to remain as is for most of wave country. Kicks in officially at 1 a.m., but overall, most of this is going to be closer to sunrise and after. Here's the problem, though. It's a cold ground. Temperatures at or below freezing on the pavement temperatures, so everything can stick. Yes, we got salt on the roads. Initially, that is going to help. So hopefully they can hammer this hard with salt and take care of a lot of problems, because temperatures will crash again throughout the day, and we don't want any more problems from that like we had on Sunday. A couple of models to show you. Here is our in-house Futurecast RPM model. Shows a few flurries flying around through 3 or 4 o'clock in southern Indiana mainly. And then the squalls break out around 8 in the morning, which means most of rush hour could happen before the squalls take place. That makes JCPS even more stressed, I'm sure, and trying to make a decision on schools. Because, again, that would be a tough time to have these break out. But these little pockets of darker blue is what we got to watch. This is where you can get lightning, you get the heavier snow rates, and again, it's not uniform. It's not a blob of snow like we normally are tracking. It's very scattered, thunderstorm-like snow showers, and that makes picking out the location of these a big challenge, and as well as far as amounts too. Then the winds, I think this is the windiest period. It's going to be between 10 and noon. I think the winds are really going to howl. That's when the front is actually passing through at this point, and it'll pass on through with some gusty winds, and then the colder air begins to arrive after that. Here is another model. This is the Rapid Refresh, or Triple R models, the HER model that you guys know about. It's picking up on that, the light snow flurries this evening moving through. So it's real sensitive to that idea through the atmosphere trying to saturate. And then as we get into about 4 o'clock, it shows a few little light snow showers to the north, but it really, just like the RPM, it doesn't ramp things up until about 8 or 8:30 in the morning. But anywhere you see this green, that's where it's moderate snow. passing through the area, and then it moves off to the east. But see these little bands? See, it's the area that could see the green over them the longest, where the snow repeats itself over and over. You are the ones that could overachieve on snow. For those of us that see the little blob of green pass over us, or the heavier snow showers, and it's out of here, a dusting. But if you get stuck under one of these bands, redevelop over the same area over and over, ahead of the front itself moving in, mid to late morning, you're the ones that could benefit and get the higher totals. It is just a huge challenge, guys, to figure out where that is going to be. Here are some of the model projections. Here's the NAM model, again, the 1-inch totals, far northern counties. RPM kind of splits the deal a little bit. Light snow to the south, snow to the north, and then I-64 almost gets shafted. GFS, it's got a poor grid to it, so it's very broad in its idea of light snow in general. Pretty much fits the advisory. And then the Euro is pretty much a poor grid, too, that we're showing. So overall, not a whole lot has changed, except for the idea that I've narrowed down the totals, the upper end of the totals. The 3 to 4 inch total now to me looks so isolated that I can't draw it within a particular range. I still think there's potential for a heavier band that'll set up shop. And it could very well be over Louisville or Bullitt County. It could be just over Madison. I can't really answer that with a whole lot of confidence. But again, we're not talking about a huge difference here, about half inch to an inch or two. Not a big deal on snow, but I get it. For snow lovers, you really want to be in that blue. I get that, all right? But I've got to stress, this is only one of 3 factors here of snow that we're referring to, because we got to deal with the wind as well. Here's the potential wind gusts that we could see out of this system. Those are these numbers displayed. Overnight tonight in the morning hours, wind gusts potentially 25 to 30 miles per hour out of the southwest. As the squalls move in, you see right along the front, you see right in there, we start to get Jasper around 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, Salem 37 about 10:30 in the morning. So it could look like a blizzard at times. We're not expecting a blizzard, but it can look and feel like it at times with those reduced visibilities. And then the winds will be a cold wind and begin to relax Tuesday night, and that will allow for us to really drop temperature-wise. So any temperature rise that we'll see overnight, early morning, it's going to be very minor, because when the snow kicks in, we begin our drop. And as the front takes over, look at the drop into the 20s we go, and then teens for the late afternoon into the night. And if we got a decent snowpack, we're talking about single digits again by early on Wednesday morning. So it's a tricky system. It's not all about snow. It's the combination of snow and wind. It's an impact system that we are concerned about, not the snow amount. I hope that is clear. Then we get into the weekend. Here's Friday. Again, here's the GFS, the Euro, and the Canadian, and the ensembles, the smoothing out of the chaotic ideas of all these down below. And you notice right away that it's showing, it looks like 2 areas of low pressure, one over the southeast coast and one over the Midwest. All of them seem to be showing that. That seems to be the trend, and the ensembles are showing that. So it's like a double barrel deal where the low moves in and it transfers energy to the southeast coast, and then that low becomes the parent low and moves up into New England, which means this low will eventually begin to weaken. But it looks like it'll be warm enough Friday, certainly for rain. But then as we get into Saturday, it depends on how this secondary low is still intact. Where it's located depends on how windy it's going to be and how much snow we get on the backside of the system. The Euro is trying to move the two closer together, more phased, and the Canadian's a little more far apart. Either way, Saturday looks to be trending to snow, maybe an accumulating snow. Looks very similar really to Sunday, to be honest. And then cold air takes over. As we into Sunday and Monday, you get into the whites. You're talking about frigid air, and the Canadian's really dramatic with it. But even the Euro has got support from its ensembles of the cold air. Highs in the teens, the way it's looking here. I think the GFS is going to play catch-up with the other two. And then we head into the 21st. Through the 23rd of January, another low moves into the plain states. Question is, how strong will the high be in the east to keep that cold air over us as that low ejects out? Don't know how that's going to play out. I did look at the longer range Euro. It just came out tonight. I will say that overall through early February, the NAO for blocking is either at or below negative, which is good. The Arctic Oscillation is either at or below negative, especially in early February. The PNA remains generally at or below positive. That's good too. So it looks like a lot of back and forth in the cold swings, but it still looks to be a very cold look all the way through early February. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you at 11, and Chris, you have more beginning at 4 a.m.